You know what's interesting? I haven't had to advertise my hair business in years. I'm not chasing new clients. I don't post constantly. Gosh, I don't even think I've thought about running an ad forever. And yet, every single week, I'll have someone or a couple someones asking to get in with me. And when I tell them I can't, they'll ask me, "Can you put me on your wait list?" They're willing to wait for me. You ask why? Well, it's not luck. And it's definitely not because I'm the most talented hairstylist in the world. It's because of my 5-star review rating. I ask every client that comes in to see me that's new, and I look forward to seeing new clients. I ask them, "How'd you find me?" And they always tell me because of my 5-star reviews. Guys, and that's what we need in this industry to be able to build a loyal clientele fast. So in this episode, I'm going to show you exactly how that happens and the 3 habits that can make your business grow even when you're not actively trying. Do you want a full chair with a steady flow of clients and more confidence behind the chair, but you struggle with slow books, inconsistent income, and feeling stuck or discouraged? If so, my friend, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Sherry Brody, hairstylist, educator, and mentor behind the chair. After rebuilding my business multiple times, I've learned how to own my chair like a business, creating clarity, confidence, and consistency without the feeling of burnout. So grab your shears, step behind the chair with me, and let's build that business you've been dreaming of. All right, so I want to unpack what I mentioned earlier in the teaser, the fact that I haven't had to advertise in years. One of the things that I want to share with you first is if you want to build a loyal clientele, you have to stop hoping that your clients will come back. You got to take charge of your business, which is your chair. That chair, you got to learn to own it like a pro. And today I want to share with you 3 things that if you start doing today behind the chair, then it won't be long till you're saying exactly what I'm saying. I have people all the time wanting to see me, and I haven't even advertised. Now, I mentioned the first one. I'm going to mention 3 things, and they all start with R's. I like to call it the 3 R's. Now, the very first one that I want to share with you is you got to give your client a reason to give you a 5-star review. So I want you to think about that. Think about an experience in your life where you went someplace and you thought to yourself, "I'm never coming back here." And then you went and you told a friend because you had to tell them about it. For me, it's a restaurant. I remember going to a restaurant and it was supposed to be this great experience. And I went in and it wasn't a good experience for me. So then I found myself wanting to tell somebody about it. I share that with you because clients will be more apt to talk about what was wrong than what was good. It's just human nature. So I want to give you some things that I personally are a priority for every single client that sits in my chair, whether they're new or whether they have been coming to me for years. Consistency is key in your business. So I want to give you some things to think about and really take note of to see if you are doing a 5-star worthy rating as a hairstylist. So the first one I want to start with is you yourself. How do you present yourself to your clients? When you look in the mirror, is your hair done? Is your makeup on? You might say, "Oh, I don't wear makeup." Well, you're in the hair business. You're in the beauty business. Clients are coming to you to help them feel good about themselves. And I don't know about you, but if I'm somebody that is meeting you for the first time and a stylist walks up to me and they have no makeup on and their hair isn't done, and which brings me to the next thing, and they're dressed really kind of like they just rolled out of bed or they didn't put much effort into themselves, I personally, as a client, would feel very, very nervous about getting my hair done with you. It's kind of like When I take an exercise class and I go to that exercise class, I want my mentor, my teacher who's teaching me, I want them to be somebody that I want to be like. If I go to a class and somebody's really overweight and not taking care of themselves, why would I want to take the class from them and trust that they're going to be able to help me get healthier if they're not healthy? It's the same thing as a hairstylist. You need to dress the part. I really feel like we as a whole industry have gotten very lax on the way we dress and the way we come to work. And yes, some of you might be saying, oh, well, she's an old timer. She's been doing this forever. You know what, you guys? I have been doing it forever. And maybe I am an old timer to you. But I'm the one that's sitting here telling you that I rebuilt my business. I rebuilt it quickly. I constantly have people coming in and wanting their hair done with me. I'm charging top dollar prices. And there's a reason for that. And maybe you need to stop and just take a listen. I know when I started in the industry, and it's changed a lot, but there was always a standard. You know, you go to a salon, you were trained, and you looked up to other stylists and you wanted to emulate that. And now we work in salon suites and we rent chairs. And yes, it has become more casual. And I'm not telling you to dress like you're going to a fancy dinner. I'm just saying, dress on trend. Dress like, put yourself together like you care about your job. And then the next thing is are you smiling? When you go up to greet somebody, are you looking them in the eye and smiling? And are you saying their name? This is a really big one. I always aim to say the client's name at least 3 times during the service. There's something about when someone says your name. Today, I stopped and got a coffee and my name is spelled Sherri. Well, nobody ever spells it right. Well, my cup, it was spelled Sherri. She didn't even ask me. And I was like, oh, that's so great. And it's so silly, I know. But stop and think about it, like how important, how you feel seen and you feel heard when somebody uses your name. And you know what else, guys? It helps you remember their name as well. I don't know about you, but I can meet somebody and then a few minutes later go, wait, what was their name? And I was told by somebody that could remember everybody's name, they would say, try to say it at least 3 times in your head and then you'll remember it. So that kind of goes both ways. You're not only making your client feel like you care and you're focused on them, but it's also helping you remember their name as well. So that's the first part of being able to get started on those 5-star reviews. Are you giving them a good consultation? Not just asking them what they want. That's what you've got to do, but you've got to be able to give them a consultation that makes them really feel like you care and that they know you're going to be doing a great job on their hair and they're going to feel really comfortable. If you are wanting more tips on consultations, I have done a few episodes on consultations. One of them was just episode 16. And let's see, where's another one? I think the other one was episode 3. I think there's a few more in there, but those 2 are really good if you really want to up the game on your consultation. When I mentioned to you that I have a lot of new clients that are always trying to get in, I only work a couple days a week behind the chair. And so some clients, it shocks me all the time, but they'll wait. Like I just did a client this week that had been on my cancellation list for 6 months. And when she came in, I did all the things. And when I finished her consultation and I looked at her and I just said, I can understand why you haven't been happy because you're trying to dictate to me on how you want your hair done, but we need to get started. And she looked at me and she said, I have complete confidence in you. She goes, nobody has ever they've asked me what I wanted, but they haven't really taken the time like you did. Like you looked at my hair, you felt my head shape, you asked me questions. She goes, I'm ready. Let's do this. And we ended up doing something different than what she wanted. And she was really, really happy. I share that with you because, guys, I can't tell you how many clients I've had sit in my chair that say that. And consultations are so easy. And it doesn't just benefit your client in that how you make them feel. Like that's the most important reason we do a consultation is we want them to feel confident in our abilities. We want them to feel comfortable and at ease in our chair. And the only way they're going to feel confident in you, by the way, is if you feel confident in what you're doing. And there's so many times I want you to ask yourself, how many times have I asked the client what they wanted and inside I was like, ooh, I hope I can do this. And you went ahead and did it without doing a consultation. And the whole time you're doing their hair, you're up in your head. So you're having a really hard time focusing on what they're saying because you're more concerned about making sure that, oh, I hope this turns out. That's just a recipe for them not to come back because they can feel that uncertainty. And that in essence is part of their experience, and it's going to lower their desire to give you that 5-star review that you want. And I say also the consultation, it helps you to the next step in getting a review, and that is taking charge. You've got to take charge. Like that client I just mentioned, she had been to 4 other hairstylists and not one of those stylists took charge to literally tell her what you're wanting, what you're describing. It's not going to work on your head. And you want this volume. Well, I can't give you volume if you don't have some sort of weight removal or layering. I mean, it's just the way it is. But I wasn't afraid to tell her that. And she listened to me because I took the time that I did in the consultation. So that's just, I could go on and on with that. So I'm going to move on. So the next one is the shampoo. Guys, this one is so easy. Give them at least a 2-minute shampoo. That's it. 2 minutes. You give your client a relaxing shampoo with a head massage. You do the neck. You give them, be quiet. Don't be chattering about things. Let them relax. I can't tell you how many times a client would look at me with these doughy eyes and go, oh my God, that felt so good. Thank you so much. So simple. I do it, guys, because yes, it was taught to me, but because I know how good it feels and I want my client to feel good. I want them to have the best experience in my chair. The next one is during the service, all their experience during the service. When you're working on your client, ask yourself, are you talking about yourself or are you talking about them, getting them to talk about themselves? I've been caught up in the same thing. For some reason, here's my, clients, they just want to know about my life. They want to know what's going on. And a lot of times clients will do that because they think I've got this great life and their life isn't probably the best. I don't know. But there's a rule I have. I've always had it. Like I don't have personal pictures at my station. As I get to know my clients, sometimes I'll share little things like about a vacation or if I got a new car or about my new cute dog. Those are fine. But I really can't tell you enough to remember that they're there to pay you for a service. And sometimes, so many times, that boundary gets blurred and we start to think of them as a friend and we forget that they picked you. They picked your salon out of hundreds of other hairstylists and salons, and they're sitting in your chair. So make the most of that and make them take it further than the consultation. Let them feel seen and heard and cared about. So next time you guys have a service, start thinking, speaking of dogs Anyways, where was I? Oh, that's right. We were talking about the service and just really focusing on them. And some of the ways that I do that is during the service, I'll ask them little questions about the products they're using, get them talking about their hair, getting to know their habits a little bit more with their hair so that when I go to the styling portion, then I'm thinking in my head about what kind of products I can recommend to them. And even though in the consultation I've already touched on it, I kind of get them to delve a little bit deeper. And I always make sure that I teach them how to style their hair. I personally, if a client sits in my chair, it really bugs me to death when they say to me, I never can style it like you, Sherry. I mean, I still get a few of those, but I hate it because I really work really hard while they're in my chair to explain to them about the product I'm using and how to use it, why I'm using it, where I'm using it, how to use the brush, all that stuff. I mean, these things are easy for us, but guys, clients, a lot of them, they don't know how to do this. They don't know how to style their hair. They don't understand about how to layer products or what products to put in. And it really, really just makes their experience so much better and lasting if you will take the time to teach them how to do it. And then take it a step further. I tell all my clients, if you have trouble styling your hair, call me. I will make time to get you back in and give you another style lesson. I don't care about the extra time because what I care about is keeping that client happy and having a loyal client and giving them a great experience. Because let's face it, guys, we're in an industry that it is competitive. There's a hairstylist probably right next door to you if you're in a salon suite. What are you doing different to keep them coming back to you? I just want you to think about that. Another thing that I offer too is I let them know when you need a bang trim, text me. I tell them straight up, I don't answer my phone during the day when I'm working, but text me. I'll see it. I'll work you into my day and give you a free, I'll trim those bangs for you. It takes me 2 seconds. It's 2 seconds. Okay, maybe 5 minutes of your time. Big deal. But, they're coming back to you. They're coming back into your chair to experience you again. Or neck trims. The next thing is look around at your station. Next time you go to work, look at your station as a client sees it. There's so many times, we're used to set a little bit of hair in our drawer, or what do the floorboards look like? Is there hair and product stuck on it? What's the floor around your station look like? Is it stained? Is your chair clean? Is the base of your chair clean? Is the tray you work off of, is the base of that clean? Clients notice this stuff. Make sure that what they're seeing and sitting there seeing is worthy of a 5-star rating. There's a place I really love this pizza. Love it. It's so good. But I'll always get it to go because the few times that we have sat there and had pizza, it's like I'm looking at the baseboards that are dirty and there's you can see, dirty dishes over here. I mean, it's not that it's a filthy place. It's just that it could be maintained better. The product itself is great. I love it. But the experience when you're inside of this restaurant, it's not worthy of a good rating. And the majority of this restaurant does do takeout. But all they would have to do is clean and organize things. Everything is really cluttered. That's another thing at your station. Are your drawers neat and tidy? Is your mirror smudged? It's funny because I think about that. Just yesterday, I pulled my hand mirror out and it had fingerprints on it. So I just rubbed it on my buns and handed it to him. And my client just laughed, but I hated having fingerprints. But anyway, those are things I want you to think about that sometimes we don't. And then I just want to ask you, are you thanking them at the end of your service? Are you thanking them for choosing you? It goes a long way. And something that I don't do it anymore, but when I was building I made a little sign with a little scan code. I had it on the mirror and asking, hey, if you had a good service, I'd really love it if you could give me a review. And they could scan and do it right there on the phone. I had a lot of them do that. I never had to do this, but I know salons have done this. I know when I had my salon, we did this for Yelp, but we would have contests with our clients and, whoever gave us ratings, they were put into a drawing and we'd have a raffle for a complimentary service or, a basket that we would give them. But, you can come up with your own creative ideas. But the whole point here is number one, give them a reason, like in your service, to give them a review. And then you got to ask them. Sometimes, verbally say, hey, you know what? If you really liked your service today, would you do me a favor and do a review for me? I'd really appreciate it. It goes a long way, guys. You can't be afraid to ask. So many times I feel like, and I say this, guys, because I've been there. I've been too shy about asking. Well, I don't want to, what are they going to think if I ask? And that's just being timid. And that was hurting my business and my growth. And you're hurting yourself when you sit in that place of being nervous or worried about how it's going to sound. You got to take charge of your business, you guys. I'm always saying it. I don't care what salon you're working in, what type you're working in, the chair you're working behind, that is your business. And if you want it to grow and you want it to grow fast, then you got to take charge of it. And this is one of those. So the next one is you always want to ask for referrals. Guys, clients don't automatically just think about referring. Yes, we all have those clients that are like, oh man, I can't wait to tell my mom or my friend about you. That, we have those, yes. But I can't tell you how many times I've thought about telling somebody and then I got lost in life and I completely forgot. So you've got to make sure that you're not afraid to ask. Here are some things that I did to get referrals and to be at the top of their mind. The number one thing that I did was when I was rebuilding for the fourth time, I have a system. I know how to build a business because I've had to rebuild so many times. Which, by the way, if you guys, want to learn more, get more in inspirations from me and work more with me, be sure to visit my website at onpointhairbySherry, SHERRI.com. I have so many ways to work with me. I'd love for you to reach out to me. Anyhow, the number one thing I would do is I would hand each client before they would leave 3 business cards. And what I would tell them was, on the back of that business card, I would write $10 off towards any service. And I would ask them to send me 3 people with this business card and make sure that you tell them, make sure you have them write your name on it so that I would always forget. So I would say, make sure you write your name on the card as well when you hand it to them so that I know it's you. And if you send me 3 people and it would be before their next appointment, so I would put an expiration date on there, then I would give my client that referred me those 3 clients, I would give them a free haircut. I know some of you are like, oh, I don't want a discount. I don't want to give something away free. To me, at the time when I'm building my clients and I have open space on my books, that was worth it. I would love to have a client come back into my chair and give them another opportunity to experience me. And I'd also make the most of that time as well. I mean, yes, I'm giving a free haircut. It's just my time. Yes, it's the use of my back bar products, but big deal. And of course, then I would take pictures and have befores and afters, and you're just giving them another reason to give you that review, but you're also giving them another opportunity to make sure they come back and see you again. And on top of that, they sent you 3 people, for heaven's sakes. That's a big deal. Guys, referrals, word of mouth, it is and will always be your best form of advertising. That is one of the biggest stresses with people. When they move, they always tell me, oh my gosh, the most scariest thing is finding a doctor and someone to do my hair. And when a friend or somebody you trust or a family member tells you, hey, I had my hair done by Sherry and she gave me, look at my hair, and she gave me a great experience. You should go see her. That's just the best because they already trust you before they even sit in your chair. And when I say, do a $10 off towards any service with me, yeah, it's money off. I preferred to do that than a percentage. I kind of tested it both and the dollar was better. And for me, that was worth it. You have to decide whether it was worth it to you, but to have a client give me an opportunity when I'm building, that was nothing for me. And if you were like nervous about, having to, maybe you're halfway building and you're still trying to build your clientele, well, look at the days that aren't as busy. And then you only schedule those clients that that referred you, that you're giving them the complimentary haircut or you're doing the $10 off. You book on the days that are your slowest. That's just a little recommendation from me. So the first R is to get a 5-star review. And the second one, and give them a reason and ask them for it. And referrals. Make sure you ask. Don't forget to ask for those referrals. And the last R is always, 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 you ask your client to rebook. How many times have you had a client come to you and say, gosh, dang it, I should have been here 2 weeks ago? Oh, guys, that's lost income for you. So when you ask a client to rebook with you, especially if it's a new client and you've already got them honed in to rebooking with you, you not only have them on your books, so you're preparing your future self, but you're giving them another chance to experience you in your chair, and you're building loyalty with you. And guys, you're going to make more money. Let me break it down for you just to give you an example. Let's say you have a client, you charge her $50 for a haircut or service. She chooses to come see you about every 8 weeks. Annually with that client, you'll make about $300 a year on that one client. But if you make sure that you take the time to rebook that client and she comes in every 5 weeks, now you're going to make an extra $200 a year from that one client. Instead of $300, you went to $500. So if you stop and break it down like that, it makes a huge difference. And when you add that up with 10 clients coming in at $50, then, and they're coming in every 8 weeks, you're making $3,000, but every 5 weeks, you're making another $2,000. As the numbers grow on who you rebook, so does your income. So I want you to really think about that. You are literally leaving money on the table by not having the courage to ask your client to rebook. So let's go into that just a little bit. Let me give you a couple of things that I say to my client. Instead of giving them an answer to say, oh, no, I don't want to, this is what you want to say. So, Marianne, in order to maintain this haircut, you want to make sure you do it about every 4 to 5 weeks. That's going to be the week of April 5th. Do you prefer a morning or an afternoon appointment? That's simple. They may say, oh, you know what, Sherry, I don't think I'm going to do that right now. I'm like, all right. Well, I just want you to know that I do book up fast. These are the days that I work. And let me write down on a card here for you the day that you're due. And a lot of times when I say that, guys, even if you're not busy, say it anyways. Practice it in the mirror so that when you say it to them, yes, you're saying it with conviction. You're saying it with confidence. A lot of times they're going to say, you know what, maybe I will tentatively. And sometimes if I have a client that says, you know what, I don't know, my schedule kind of changes, I'll say, you know what, how about we book a tentative appointment for you so that it's in there. And then if something happens, reach out to me. You'll be the first one. The people that pre-book are the ones that I will make sure I get in first prior to anybody that's a new client that doesn't rebook. Another option that I did a long time ago in the salon, and I do know some salons will do this, is that they'll offer a $5 off towards your service. So if you pre-book your haircut appointment, that haircut that is normally $50 will be $45 if you pre-book. If you wait and you just book at the time, then it's going to be a $50. You could do something like that and play the numbers, get a little creative with that just to really get them to pre-book. because you want them to come back in and experience you again and get in. And this is how you build loyalty. And guys, this is how you own your chair. This is how you build a loyal clientele. All right. So there's a quote I want to leave you with, and it is, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And that's what you're doing when you're doing this. So the 3 R's on how to build that loyal clientele fast. And guys, this is what I'm going to tell you right now. This is what successful hairstylists do. I didn't learn this by chance. I learned this from learning from others that I wanted to be like, that I wanted to be successful like them. They all had systems in place. So the first one is, make sure you ask and give your client a reason to give you a 5-star review. You ask for referrals, and then you ask them to rebook. That's simple. The 3 R's. If you're not doing them, start doing them. If you're nervous, like, oh, I get so nervous when I talk about it, practice it in the mirror to yourself until it becomes second nature. As always, I sure hope that this episode has lit a fire under you, that has given you some encouragement, some new ideas to start building that clientele and get out of the slump that you're in. And next week, just so you know, I'm going to be sharing some really easy things that you can do to make sure those new clients that sit in your chair, that they come back to you. And there again, this is just coming from some of the systems that I use to build my clientele numerous times. I'm going to share it with you next week as well. So until then, I wish you a blessed week. Remember, your clients will remember more about how you made them feel than anything else at all. And I'll see you in the next episode. Happy haircutting, everybody. Hey, friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If it helped you, I'd love for you to hit subscribe and leave a quick review and share what stood out most for you today. When you leave a review, it helps other stylists find this show. And hey, if you want to hang out with me more and learn alongside other like-minded stylists who are working on building their clientele as well, I have a free Facebook group I just started. You'll find the link in the show notes below. I'd love to have you there and hang out with you. I'll be back next week. Until then, happy haircutting, and remember, your chair is your business, so own it like a pro.